We're determined to find out what has happened to Charlene Downes in 2003, and we appeal to the public today for their assistance to come forward and help us resolve this case. Firstly, I'd like to appeal to Charlene's friends and associates who knew her in 2003, understood her lifestyle. I need them to come forward and speak to us and to tell us how Charlene was living her life in those last days, those last weeks in November 2003. It's really important to take the case forward, that we understand how she lived her life, and that will assist us in identifying and leading us to Charlene's killer and finding out how her body has been disposed of. It's over a decade now since Charlene disappeared, and her friends will now be in their mid-20s, and some of them may be parents themselves. And I would ask them to think back to 2003, 2004, and to think about how they lived their lives, and to come forward and speak to us with any information, no matter how small, which may help us to take this case forward. We recognise that Charlene was sexually exploited, and I need the information from her friends and associates to help me to focus in on how she lived her life, to learn out how she was killed and her body was disposed of. Secondly, I firmly believe that there are people in Blackpool who have information about what happened to Charlene, and I would ask them to speak to us with any information, no matter how small, which may help me to take this case forward. There may be reasons that they didn't speak to us back in 2003 and 2004. It may be that they've been spoken to by detectives but have chosen not to give us any information, but I would ask them to search their consciences and to come forward and speak to us in confidence or directly so that I can take this case forward. It may be that they were there when Charlene was exploited or murdered. It may be that they were there when Charlene's body was disposed of. It may just simply be that they have heard what has happened to Charlene and know who her killer is. And I would urge them to come forward and share that information with us. Finally, I'd like to appeal for the public's help with some CCTV footage which we've unearthed. We believe that Charlene was seen on Talbot Road in between 9:15 and 10:15 on the evening of Saturday the 1st of November 2003. She was seen by two witnesses. She was seen with a lady with blonde hair and a 3/4 length black jacket. We've gone back over the CCTV from 2003 and identified a female who's wearing a 3/4 length black coat with blonde hair with a teenage girl. This may be Charlene, and it may be the last recorded footage we have of her. And what I'd like to do is to appeal to the public. One, do you know who this woman is? Or secondly, if this woman is you, to please come forward and speak to us, because we need to know where she was going and who she was with to help us to take this case forward. But finally, I would ask the public just to consider Charlene's family. It's important that we bring this case to a close and that the reward is there for information either which identifies Charlene's killer or helps us to find her body. That way the family can afford a decent burial and bring some closure for them in this case.